I'd like to speak a little bit further on the topic of fasting today because it seems like it's such a hot topic, and that's great. I love that it has become, I don't want to call it a fad because fasting is not a fad, but it has become trendy, which is to say that it's becoming more mainstream. More people are participating in this and adopting a fasting lifestyle, which I think is wonderful because, as we know, the established science as well as the emerging science in the literature, in the scientific literature, it supports fasting for not only prevention of chronic disease and helping to fight cancer, also helping to increase the longevity and decrease the risk of chronic diseases, and particularly diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia, and also just in improving the overall quality of life. I've had a fasting lifestyle for roughly 3 to 4 years, closer to 4 years now, and so I feel like I've gotten a head start. I'm going to be doing this as a lifestyle for the rest of my life, and my body and brain and overall health will be better for it. So I just want to share a little bit more about how I vary my fasts as a female to create metabolic flexibility and variability, because that's very important. And I fast according to my cycle, actually. And on that point, a great resource, I think, in my opinion, the #1 resource on the internet for fasting in terms of females is Dr. Mindy Pelz. And shout out to you, Mindy. I have educated myself grandly through your generous video content library, and that has provided me a resource. Through my experimentation, I have gotten into the sweet spot groove where I can fast comfortably and sensationally to optimize my health and my hormones. So thank you, Mindy. I want to personally thank you. So she's a great channel. I'll link her below. Not just for females, actually, everyone can watch her, but she caters to females a lot in her fasting training. A large portion of her audience are women. Other reliable resources on this topic are Dr. Vincent Longo. He talks extensively about time-restricted feeding, and Dr. Peter Attia. He is a great resource about fasting and the benefits of autophagy and time-restricted feeding for prevention of chronic disease, and also, again, to support longevity. So I'll just go over what I do to practice that metabolic variability in terms of my cycle. So the follicular phase, which starts on day 1 of menstruation, females will know this, and it ends with ovulation. That's when the follicle stimulating hormone goes up. From day 1 to about day 21 of my cycle, I fast intuitively, which is, for me, it tends to be anywhere from 16 to maybe once a week doing a 24-hour fast or 22-hour fast. That's comfortable for me. So about 2 weeks before menstruation, I don't fast to any extremes. You can still practice intermittent fasting, but I don't do anything extreme. I don't even do autophagy fasting, which is like the 17 to 19 hour. Those are the days where I tend to break my fast at 10 a.m. Roughly, and I listen to my body's hunger cues. And I also tend to incorporate more complex carbohydrates, so foods like Japanese sweet potatoes. I love Charleston purple yams, pumpkin, things like this that will support, estrogen and progesterone, and that will build and support my healthy cycle, nourishing my body accordingly. So like I said, any complex carbohydrates, that's the time when I incorporate that, because I don't want to be in ketosis during that time, I guess is my point. So in order to do that, I bump up the complex carbohydrates so that I am sure that I'm not in ketosis, so that my body can do its thing. And it really does. It responds very harmoniously, I found. Simply put, the way that females fast is going to be different than males, because females, I'll speak for myself. I'm 39 years old, so I still have my cycle, and I want to support a healthy cycle, a healthy, regular cycle. So I fast accordingly to that. And I have to say, the foods that I eat, I don't label my diet anymore because labeling something is to limit it, and I'm not really into that. So right now, if I had to call it something for the sake of communication, I suppose it would be a Mediterranean style keto diet, but I don't eat dairy, I don't eat refined sugar. These are the main points. I don't eat dairy, I don't eat refined sugar, I don't eat processed foods. I eat real food. I eat real food, vegetables, grass-fed meats, wild-caught fish, olives, avocados, olive oil, very simple, basic, real foods, cod liver, seafood, shellfish, beef, organ meats, all of these things. So my diet is very basic, and I've gone through what I eat in the past. You can consult any of my videos involving food, and on any given day, that's what I eat. Eggs, pasture-raised eggs, egg yolks. One thing that Dr. Mindy is always saying is that she's on a mission to get 1 million people fasting, and so I'm part of that, but I've been fasting for a number of years now, and I point that out only because this is the area in which I study, and the area of functional medicine in general, but I'm interested in health and longevity. And I'm interested in not only lifespan, but something that Peter Attia calls health span, which is the wellness quotient, how well we live, not just how long we live. And incorporating a fasting lifestyle is absolutely one thing that we can do as humans to keep our cells young. This is one way we can take charge of our own bodies and really cultivate the grounds for wellness and optimal aging, because I don't want to be anti-aging. Age happens to all of us, and we should be grateful for it. So I'm not anti or against anything that's natural like that, a natural process. However, I want to be optimally aging. So this is one practice that I believe in strongly, and the research supports it. So I am by no means an expert in fasting, but I am an expert and I'm the authority of my own body. So that's what I hope for each of you watching, is to gather the information, educate yourself through reliable resources, and don't follow what anyone else is doing. Experiment on yourself. That's what I did. I experimented through all kinds of diets, through all kinds of fasting schedules. I've done it all, you name it. And that's the only way that you can become the authority of this vessel. You can't just listen to someone else's story and then plug it in and expect to get the same results or any results. You have to see for yourself and apply that, because that's the only way that I believe we can gain clarity on our own bodies. We each only have one body, and we're living in it. I'm not living in your body, and you're not living in mine. So I've done so many experiments, dietary experiments, fasting experiments. I've fasted for 3 days. I've fasted for 24 hours. I've done the experimentation on myself because I want to know what it feels like in my body. This didn't work for me, that worked for me. I'll never do that again. I'll do that over and over again. So that would just be my takeaway, is that all of the information that you consume, dig deeper yourself. Dig deeper into the scientific literature, dig deeper into the resources available, look at opposing research and opposing opinions. Those are valuable, so valuable. And see what the critics are saying, see what everyone is saying. And then at the end of the day, do you. Do what is appropriate and going to serve you. That goes for anything in life, actually. You should never you should always pause, I guess is my point. Always pause first before you do anything. That's what I mean when I say think for yourself and advocate for yourself. The biggest responsibility I believe we have is that over our own bodies, and we're responsible for what we put in, what we do with it, and how we treat it. So to wrap this up for now, I can return to this topic if there is an expressed interest in me talking about perhaps something specific, but as a female, I wanted to explain how I fast a little bit differently because it is different for women because of our hormones. So now, currently, I never do longer than a 20-hour fast more than once a week. And then, depending on where I am in my cycle, I fast anywhere from 17 to 19 hours, maybe 20 hours. So I do autophagy fasting the majority of the time. And then I cater my fasting overall to sync with my cycle. But I would direct you again to Dr. Mindy Pell's channel, especially if you are a female watching this and you're at all interested in starting a fasting lifestyle. I found her about a year ago when I was already into my fasting journey, but she has been an excellent resource, and I've watched her videos again and again as a reinforcement and a re-education to further reinforce what I'm doing. And it's a great community that she's built over there. So I will just end on that and leave questions down below if you have any. I thank you for watching, and you shall see me soon. Thank you for being here. Bye.